truth is stranger than fiction.
Exactly.
Which was a Sasquatch type of ape-type figure that was very advanced because it had the first levels of the human DNA in it, which means that it had a higher intelligence. And from that, they grafted down several species down to what you get is the doggone European, which was like a dumber form of a species, which later on the intellect had to evolve. It's in the movie Multiplicity. Remember they was cloning? In the movie they was cloning down, and he cloned two of them, and he cloned that third one, and he was dumb as shit. You remember that? That's what we're talking about here. So they grafted down to that last and final product. Although it was hairy, it wasn't as hairy as the Sasquatch. So they had several beings and stuff like that. That's the reason why this particular Sasquatch thing can stay out of sight. What little races of that is remaining and stuff, they got stories on this particular stuff. That ain't nothing but a relative of the doggone European. Now, in 1999, coming from Penguin Books, why is it that they would republish some H.P. Lovecraft works, which is published by tons of doggone authors, tons of publishing houses, but in this particular one, Penguin Books out of England, in 99, they would republish something. They would put a footnote in the back, the facts concerning the late Arthur Genman and his family, which is supposed to be a fictional character, but this is interesting because we know that H.P. Lovecraft was a form of all types of occult scientists. And H.P. Lovecraft was a so-called fictional writer that wrote all this stuff on the Cthulhu mythos and these ancient race of beings and stuff, which their chief avatar, or their chief person that is over these ancient race of beings is a black man by the name of Nyarlathotep. The H.P. Lovecraft says this in this particular thing. Resounding opening utterance is one of the most celebrated passages of H.P. Lovecraft fiction that contains a curious phase of science, perhaps to be the ultimate exterminator of our human species, and if separate species we be. Now, the last clause is critical. This generalized statement concerning the possibility of human beings may not be entirely human. Is not logically deductible from a single case of miscegenation. What H.P. Lovecraft appears to be suggesting is that the inhabitants of a primal African city of white apes are not only the missing link between apes and human, but the ultimate source of the white civilization. The entire white race derived from a primal race in Africa, a race which had corrupted itself by intermingling with apes. This is the only explanation of the narrator's opening statement, which says, if we knew who we were as Sir Arthur Genman did, i.e. we would commit suicide. We may not have white ape in our immediate ancestry, but we are all products of an ultimate miscegenation. Now this is coming from the 1999 footnotes in the back of the Cthulhu Mythos book, Call of Cthulhu, of Penguin Publications out of London, England. Now, why would they put this back here and all? Now, first of all, what's the name takes this statement and writes the movie and writes the novel Congo. What's the boy name? They wrote the movie Congo. He also wrote Jurassic Park and all those movies. He wrote Congo, Jurassic Park. Michael Crichton. Michael Crichton writes Congo because he's getting this particular stuff from H.P. Lovecraft. But on the other hand, to clear this up, they didn't intermingle with a race of apes. This is a fictional piece, or this is somebody trying to sum up something that's greater. In so many words, if you put this on a high scientific thing, they grafted ape DNA with all other kind of ape, DNA. So the white boy is right when they say that they come from apes. And this whole origin of species of natural selection based on your boy Charles Darwin. Now we know that Charles Darwin in academia now, in all Western education now, you can't cross, you gotta stay on both sides if you're gonna be legitimate. Based on their legitimacy, on what they say. They set the guidelines for what they want in their universities. And they're saying, based on their scholarship, Western scholarship, you either got to believe in the evolution theory of Charles Darwin, that we all came from apes, or you got to believe in the creation theory of the Bible and most Western religions. You see what I'm saying? And never the two shall merge themselves together. Number one, because they're trying to hide the origin of this whole ape thing. They'll put it behind that and stuff, because the simple fact, they want everybody to believe we came from one single source, the apes. And so therefore, and other than to say we came from the ancient black man, this is the key on this doggone Charles Darwin thing, which was a part of secret societies, which was a part of a secret society that came up with this foolishness and stuff. It was a consortium of the secret societies, just that Charles Darwin is the author of the book. You see what I'm saying? That what's a natural selection or whatever the name of the book is and all. So he gets credited for this particular Darwin theory, but it's the secret society's plan to somehow cover up the fact that the black man at that time was the ancient origin of everything. Now this stuff, the Darwin stuff, comes out around the same time that the white man in England was interested in the origin of races and pulled that old fake ass shit called the Piltdown man, where they went and got some couple of bones and put them all together, buried them, and came and found them and said that the origin of man was in England. And the shit stood for years until somebody came and found out the shit was a fake. The Piltdown man came on the heels of them finding some bones in South Africa. They later on found the Lucy bones in East Africa, but they found some bones in South Africa that was very old. So this whole thing that is going down with Charles Darwin and all of this stuff is going on at the same time, where they're trying to either authenticate the oldest man being in England, which is some old fossil hybrid species, or some old ape species, or the oldest, or they saying that man came from ape. So some people say, well, Bobby, they got these hominid species. They have all these species of these different apes and stuff. Archaeology proves it. Yes, it proves it. It proves that there was different species of ape, but it don't prove that our black ass came from it. You see what I'm saying? See the mind here that thing is? Yes, we have different species of ape, just like we got a damn saber-toothed tiger based on a modern tiger. We got different species of birds. But it don't prove that man came from the different species of ape. They can't bit more prove that this shit evolved into the black man. Now who am I going to go by? Am I going to go by a bunch of crackers that's talking about a bunch of different species of apes, which we have an origin? Yeah, we will give them. The white man does have an origin from ultimate miscegenation coming from apes. But we don't. Now who am I going to believe? I'm going to believe the ancient Egyptians, the ancient Africans, all the ancient society that say that we came down by way of a transference from another dimension, if you want to call it, another vibratory rate, if you want to call it, and if you want to get plain with this thing, we came from heaven. We came from the star Sirius, as the Dogon say and the Egyptians say. Whatever you want to call it and stuff, how is it that all of our ancient people, the most advanced people on the earth, never suggested we come from apes? But I'm going to believe Charles Darwin, a white man. But I'm not going to believe what the Egyptians say. I'm not going to believe what none of our ancient black people say. We don't have an African on the planet. We don't have no ancient people on the planet. We don't even have the Greeks. We don't even have the so-called Sumerians, if you want to believe there is a Samaria. You don't have the Babylonians. We don't have the Persians. We don't have